Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to the next episode of the West Ham Save. And we've got a Carabao Cup quarter final against Aston Villa. And now I promise you guys it'll be longer episodes, but that would mean we spend a little less time on the useless games. So we left off all the way back in October where Manchester United and Wolves, we beat both of those teams 2-1 and 3-0. That was coming off of a pretty difficult run of form. That changed very, very quickly. Wolves would beat 3-0, and then we would beat Liverpool on penalties. A last gasp goal from Brahim Diaz. We would then go on to beat Brentford 1-0, Dinamo 4-1, Middlesbrough 1-0, 3-0 to Inter Milan, and 4-2 against Brighton. We would lose 2-1 to Tottenham, sadly, but we would beat Fulham 2-0, Sporting Lisbon 5-0, and then Liverpool in the league 2-0. Now you'll see during this run of games here, just after the middle one, Messi with 2, Messi with a hat-trick, Messi with 1, Messi with 1. So Lionel Messi has started to really kick into some great form, but there is an issue. Since these games here, we have a very depleted squad, and it's not necessarily through injuries. It has been international break. So we lost Mohamed Kudus through injury. We also lost João Mario to a couple suspensions. We lost another centre-back through injury for a little while. But overall, it has been going very, very well despite a very depleted squad. Losing one of our best centre-backs. Brahim Diaz had just got into some very, very good form. But I think we have been able to replace them. Gonçalo Borges has finally... He's taken nearly a season to do it. But Gonçalo Borges has started to hit some very good form. You'll see here, he petered around the mid-sixes for a very, very long time. And was injured in that 2-1 victory over Manchester United, you may remember from last episode. Since then, he has gotten so much better. A 9.0 against Inter Milan, a 7, a 6.5 against Tottenham, but that was obviously our one bad game. Back up to an 8.8 against Sporting, and again only average against Liverpool. But those 3 games alone are better than anything we got out of him in a very, very long time since signing him for over £40 million. So this is the team we ended up agreeing on. Well, I say we. I ended up agreeing with myself on. There is a slight change. Lionel Messi is now our leading striker. The idea when we signed Petr Rakov would be that he would be a backup slowly developing under some of the great names up front. And whilst he has been an amazing player, he's on 130 grand a week, 7.86 average rating over his last 5 games, a 7.33 altogether, and in 18 starts he has 10 goals. The feeling is that Lionel Messi is the difference factor, and last episode when we were playing, it really did feel like nothing was quite coming together. We did feel oh so similar to the last 2 seasons where we're a good team and we can beat everyone below us, but beating those who we're facing ourselves, the teams in and around us in the league and in the continental competitions, those favourites, we just weren't good enough. I feel like we might have finally stumbled into something which works. It's a much more slow, controlling style, which has been the plan since really we started to make some of our own signings in that second season. And you can see how the players we've signed kind of perfectly encapsulate what we have built here. Trubin, who was signed for his on-the-ball ability. Soleil, Todibo, again, the same thing. Samu, for his kind of control of a game. He's very, very good at controlling his one trait that dictates tempo. João Mario's overlapping ability, and Messi and Rakov's very good hold-up play and vision. So, the team has discovered itself, and we are on some of our best form we've ever had, which means in the league we are 1 point behind Manchester City and joint on points with Arsenal as well as Tottenham, though we have a game in hand on both Arsenal and Manchester City. Tottenham, though, breathing down our necks. Same games played, same amount of points. We're thankful to have that goal difference. But when you look at our last 3 games of this opening half, Manchester City, Aston Villa and Sheffield United still to play, you can see that we may have gotten a little bit fortunate as our 2 biggest rivals, in my opinion, for form last season and breathing down our necks. And that's why I came to this Carabao Cup quarter-final game. One thing, we have not won silverware yet. This may be our best chance. We've already beaten 2 big names. If we can overcome Aston Villa, it doesn't feel like there's too many people we actually need to face who could possibly be left. I'm so sorry. Did not mean for my phone to go off. I hope that wasn't too loud. Yeah, I feel like if we can overcome this Villa side, we have a great chance of finally getting our hands on some silverware. And let's kick into it. I am so happy with the form. I'm kind of gutted that you guys had to miss it, but it wasn't like we were blowing teams out the park consistently. There was a lot of scrappy games, a lot of, set piece luck, etc. But Brendan Rodgers' Aston Villa are the only team right now stopping us between a semi-finals in the League Cup. Can we finally get our hands on some silverware? It feels like the League Cup, we're always so close, but it just doesn't work. I don't know who else there is in the cup competition, but I feel like we've beaten the biggest names already. Emerson heads it forward. There's already a little bit of pressure here from Aston Villa. Borges. Calmly back to Soleil. He's been great. We've got so much depth and quality. Every single player has a backup who is very top of the line. Ooh, Bowen. I don't think that was a penalty there from Jacob Ramsey, but David Coote, the referee for today's game, believes it was. As we are checking the review. And the penalty is awarded to Lionel Messi, who is fair to say has scored his fair rapid penalties after missing his first one for us. Misses the second against his former World Cup winning teammate. Oh, I cannot believe it. You may have noticed in the squad, Lionel Messi has decided he wants to retire at the end of the season. And it is not letting me try and convince him not to retire. And I only found that out, or he only announced it, after I signed him on to a new 2-year deal where he got a £45,000 per week pay rise. So he skinned us of that money, because we gave him that money in order to try and keep him on for an extra year, because I felt like if we were going to win the Premier League, we needed someone of Lionel Messi's quality. And we're not going to be able to afford many of them. We were very lucky to be able to afford Messi. A Souček over the top to Jared Bowen. This is a great chance here. Bowen striving forward but loses it out to Jonathan Rowe, the ex-Norwich man, I believe. Jacob Ramsey coming forward. The former golden boy finds Pau Torres, and the centre-back rides forward, but Anatoly Trubin with a great save. Why is it centre-backs are so good against us? That's like our biggest weakness, is centre-backs overlapping and inverting. It's very, very... Oh! Trubin forced out to bring another great save. Oh... We are a little bit under the cosh now. Great podcast, by the way, if anyone wants to listen to it. Oh, I can't believe it. I was doing about a podcast, and Armando Broja has made it 1-0. 2 corners, and we just didn't defend either of them well enough. Douglas Luiz swung it in, and Ward-Prowse and Trubin kind of get caught in each other, and somehow Breuer sneaks in. That's a terrible goal to concede. If we go out because of a goal like that, when we have a man on the line and a goalkeeper, and neither of them can deal with that, and we lose the ball again, Diaby now driving forward, cuts past his man. The pass wasn't great. I think he tried to fist that across the front of goal. We are a lot better than this. It's just the way, isn't it? You keep winning. I turn on start recording, and immediately this is what happens. To Debo, nicely to João Mario, Ward-Prowse, lovely ball over the top, Gonçalo Borges, and you can see now he is hitting that form. It took him nearly a season to break in, but that is all you need to keep giving you guys faith. We didn't just try and offset him, we believed in Borges, and it is starting to pay off now. That's a lovely goal. I mean, Martinez could do nothing about it. And if Messi had just scored his penalty so long ago, we would be 2-1 up right now. And the game would feel very, very different. Why do I keep saying oh so? I've never really said that before. I've got a bit of a blocked nose, and I feel like it's making me say words which I wouldn't normally, because it's a bit like lighter on the nasal region. So like some words, like you just know something's gonna come out, but like the bigger like R sounds aren't. Souček! Oh, I'm talking about nonsense here. 1-1. Come on, we need to make something change. Bowen and Messi both aren't having great games, and we have perfect replacements. Marcus Edwards and Petr Rakov into the squad. You couldn't ask for much better than those two. They arguably could be starting. Souček having a great game. A lot of players struggling with fitness. Emerson, who definitely has lost his Midas touch he had, is going to come off. Ben Johnson in. I'm also going to bring off Thomas Souček for Scott McTominay. It feels like the most sensible decision. Samu's having a pretty good game. There's no reason to bring him off. With only a few minutes left to go, it's still 1-1. And it looks like the game is going to end 1-1. And we're going through to penalties, and we don't have great penalty takers. We won on penalties against Liverpool in the previous round, and a lot of that came down to the quality of Anatoly Trubin. Made many great saves. The only thing I do not want Trubin to be taking a penalty that early on. Ward-Prowse, Marcus Edwards, I trust both of them. I'm going to bring Petr Rakov in and Gonçalo Borges. We have lost strength in our penalties through our substitutions. That much is obvious. But can Trubin save us again? Oh, it's a good goal there by Douglas Luiz. I mean, Martinez, who you could argue won the 2023 Best Goalkeeper in the World award from his penalties, denies James Ward-Prowse. Our two lethal penalty takers couldn't get one past Emi Martinez. And now it's Ollie Watkins, who could make this 2-0 on penalties, and we are most certainly back up against the walls. Marcus Edwards has to score past Martinez, and does. 2-1. We just need to make one save, Trubin. And it is a centre-back, Diego Carlos. Trubin versus Carlos, and makes the save. If we can score this through Petr Rakov, it's equalled up with 2 penalties left before we go into sudden death. Rakov, beautiful little Panenka. Martinez, left stunned. Now it's Jacob Ramsey, Starboy, versus Trubin. And he scores, rifles that one into the top right hand corner. Borges is up next. Goal scorer during the 90. And goal scorer in the penalties, 3-3. If we can save this against left back Alex Moreno, then Trubin may put us in with a good chance. But no, he's sent the wrong way. And it all comes down to... who is it? João Mario. The right back steps up to face Emi Martinez. go on. He wanted to leave, but he stayed, and he has put us into prime position now. Then Donker steps up. Oh, and he just squeezes it past Trubin, who went the right way. He got a touch onto it, but all it did was bounce it up into the net. And next is Samu, who forced his way into this squad, saying if he didn't get more playing time, he would leave. So I let him join into the starting 11, and he's performed well. But he's cost us. Emi Martinez with the solid save, and we're out in the Carabao Cup quarter-finals through penalties. Messi and James Ward-Prowse each missing. Could you write it any worse? Oh God, those two players have been so key for us all season and have been lethal from the penalty spot. I cannot believe they've missed. Honestly, if you look at the form tables for both those players, it is unbelievable. James Ward-Prowse, let's have a look at your form. Look at that. Today's his last 4 games. He had a couple like averages, but nothing too crazy. He has been unbelievable. He really has. The same for Lionel Messi. And in terms of penalty taken, 16 for Messi. Ward-Prowse with 14. So they're not amazing, but they have not missed penalties at all. I can't believe that. But we will be back for the game against Manchester City. Win and we go top of the table. And so we are back. I'm wondering if there's anyone who can come in, and there is 2 players who can finally come back and strengthen our squad. Ryan Aït-Nouri most certainly is going to come right back into the starting lineup, and Ousmane Diomande could maybe sneak in somewhere. I'm just not sure where. Maybe replacing Anel Ahmedouzic, who, by the way, still wanted by a couple of very big teams, but barely playing for us, which does kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, because I'd love to play him more. He was a very, very smart little signing. When I brought him in, why isn't it coming up? There we go. When I brought him in for £7.5 million, I don't think we all quite realised how good of a player we had on our hands. Anyway, I do think this is going to be the best squad we can bring out. No, Diamande's fit enough. He's going to replace Umar Saleh. So it's going to be basically our strongest squad that I could possibly bring up right now. Trubin, Aït-Nouri, Diomande, Todibo, Mario, Souček, Samu, Ward-Prowse, Borges, Messi and Bowen. Come on, lads. Let us somehow overcome Manchester City. Maybe we should do a little bit of scouting first, actually. I'm trying to see if maybe we can spot a couple weaknesses. Set pieces. That is a pretty good shout. Let's play for some set pieces. Maybe get rid of these overlapping runs for now and bring this down to low crosses. And that could well be all we need. Just a couple minute changes. And remember, if we defeat Manchester City, we become a top of the table side. And I feel like we're definitely in pole position here to get a victory. And so we kick off. It's a very, very good City squad, but no Alan Braut Haaland for today. Julian Alvarez leads the line, and former West Ham player Jeremy Doku is on the left hand side. We know Doku has ability. We saw it at the trail end of last season, but he has a tendency to be quiet in the biggest of games, and Julian Alvarez is injured. Doku now leads the line through the centre. Kovacic substituted on in the midfield. Nunez on that left wing. You've got to feel we have the strongest squad, and it's Thomas Souček who scores from a set piece. James Ward-Prowse with the assist. What more could you want? 38 minutes in, We take the lead against Manchester City. That is an unbelievable moment there. And if we set up the league table right now, we are still only in second, a game behind Arsenal. I didn't realise they'd played. Oh, but Akanji now. Great save by Trubin to deny him. Akanji was someone I actually did scout. I know he's picked up a bit of an injury. I think he's going to have to come off. He isn't super match fit anyway. So Emerson replaces Aitnori. Hopefully, Emerson can keep up the form we've got. I'm so glad we scouted. We saw set pieces were an issue. Joao Cancelo has now came on to replace Akanji. Ake and Nunez replaced by Angel Correa and Kieran Tierney respectively. They've made 4 substitutions and I still feel like we have a much stronger squad. But just a little bit of lack of fitness. And this is one of the big changes I've made. You haven't seen it yet. Petr Rakov as our left winger, I think, is something that can definitely work. I'm also going to replace Joao Mario with Ben Johnson and try and utilise our fullbacks a little bit more defensively to try and deny some of the offence on those wide areas. And Oscar Bob is the final substitution. We definitely have a better side. Lionel Messi is going to be replaced by George Eleni. And as I'm about to make that, Kovacic is through. A great tackle there by Jean-Claire Todibo, our first signing of this entire save. Forward, Joao Cancelo wins that header. Stones to Josko Gvardiol. Macho Kovacic through. What a save by Anatoly Trubin. And we stay in this, even if it's just for a few minutes left. 10 minutes to go. We are holding on. Samu off for Scott McTominay, who's going to play a much more defensive role. Souček's not fully fit. On comes... Oh, we don't have the substitution to do it. We've made all 5 subs. McTominay on. Mr. McSauce, the greatest player of all time. Todibo, Souček. We're moving this ball well. And his substitute, Ben Johnson. Oh, beats Gvardiol. Still going. Ben Johnson! Ben Johnson! Oh, what a goal! What a goal in the 85th minute. Ben Johnson makes it 2-0. And we have most certainly dethroned the Giants. At least for now. Ben Johnson. Who would have thought he'd be the man? Goes through. Makes a poor pass. Wins it right back. And skins the entire Manchester City defence. 2-0 up. It is, admittedly, a quite weak Manchester City squad, especially offensively. But we have completely neutralised the reigning and defending kings of the world. Manchester City 0, West Ham United 2. And where does that leave us in the league table? Because that is one of the best results we could possibly get. It leaves us joint on points with Arsenal, and they still have a game in hand on us. Above Manchester City, and they still have a game ahead of us. Tottenham with 2 games left to play still, so maybe they can break into this squad, but they have a pretty easy run of form for now. After that though, Brighton, Wolves, Liverpool, Aston Villa, oh, they're not in the league. So yeah, they don't have the hardest run of form, it is fair to admit. But that is some amazing news. We are now joint top of the table. Trubin with a man of the match performance. And by the way, he has just gotten a brand new contract agreed, as he felt we were underpaying him. And a lot of the team are going to feel that now as contracts begin to skyrocket a bit. I could not have a better player though to hand a hell of a lot of money to. £175,000 per week. I honestly believe he is the best goalkeeper in the world right now. Thank you all so much for watching. Question of the day, coming back to the Under the Cosh thing. What's the best football podcast in the world right now? I've gotten really into the rest of football recently, but it has been and will continue to be for a long time the Spanish football podcast. Great informative way with a lot of two very talented people working on it. Sid Lowe, beautiful person, always check him out. I cannot believe this. we genuinely, we were very unfortunate here to lose to Aston Villa. But what matters, the important things, we are still in the FA Cup, the Champions League, and the Premier League. And by the way, with the Champions League, we have moved all the way up into second place. And we don't have the hardest run of forms. Real Betis and Atalanta, all that's left. And we can maybe confirm our spot in the Champions League. Wow. This is a great season. Thank you all for watching again. I hope you have a great time, a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.